Correct sound.
Brother, what you do? I beg, oh, don't be sleeping on a bicycle.
Hey, listen, I call my brother for phone. They ask him how he dey be. He tell me say, man, everywhere don't red and he get as he be. I tell her say no worry, as long as say we know the mortuary. See, we dey alive, we still dey breathe. He get something where I believe. See, God no go shame us.
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 God no go shame us. The blessing go loud, you go worry the
You
neighbors.
go worry the neighbors.
God no go shame us.
God no go shame us.
All right. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
I have the very singular pleasure of speaking to Pastor Joseph Oluremi Omolola. You have been the longest person that I've known Pastor Joseph. We've known him, I knew him as evangelist Joseph Famuyide and later to be Pastor Joseph Famuyide, but you've known him before he became pastor, before he became an attorney. You're the longest person before his children, before his wife, and I'm sure that there's so much that you can tell us about Pastor Joseph.
Well, thank you so much. Obviously from what we've all known about him, he was a go-getter, very passionate in whatever he wanted. And I believe he also has a heart of gold. That is perhaps why we're able to bond together. Well, I started in the faculty in the year one and of course he came in the second year. And that's where we met. And of course, I was privileged to superintend like 3 of his type who look up to me for guidance or for protection, as they say. And of course, that's why they call me Baba. You know, Baba is like a father that taking care or charge of the children. But like I said, when we became close in the second year in the law department, when obviously, well, I was the class mayor, like that's the title I gave myself, class mayor, but like maybe just class rep. And of course, I was producing some handouts, which was needed for the students after the lectures. I put them, the profs would give me the material, I would reproduce it to make it cheap. And of course, himself and 2 others were like the marketers. So we have what we call jokingly then Jeroman and Sons, or Jeroman and Jeroman, that's the name of the company in quote, just what the class mates call the business, because it's kind of decent, but then they are just for me to produce the materials and then sell it cheap. I will do the production, they will do the marketing or the selling. So that's how we actually came together. And of course, over time, we left school and went to Lagos for the law school. We left the university, the Faculty of Law, went to Lagos, the law school, and that's like a 1-year program. I was to stay in Moshin, in the interland, or not interland, in the slum. And of course, he was privileged to be staying in Ikoyi, which is just like you walk over the bridge to get to Victoria Island, like maybe about 1 kilometer or less. Of course, I was to travel like 2 hours to and fro, and of course, he already secured a boys' quarter, which is just like a 10-minute walk from the campus. And of course, long story short, he offered me to stay with him because of I don't know why. Of course, because well, he knew that I was in need, and of course, he also well, that's why I say he has a heart of gold. He's very compassionate, very responsible, and of course, very reliable. So over time, after we left the law school, after we finished in the law school, we went to Abeokuta where he did the youth service. I remained back in the room, in the boys' quarter room there. But the most important striking thing is that, well, the boys' quarter itself does not belong to any of his family. It belongs to, I believe, a friend of his brother. So it was actually difficult for him to now allow me as a squatter to stay with him. But he had to go market, persuade the owner of the boy squatter that, okay, he has a brother or a friend that is stranded that will need his help. So, long story short, that's how I was able to stay with him for 1 year of law school, another 2 years after law school, before we eventually moved to, I believe, Surulere, and from Surulere to somewhere close to Ojota, Ogudu, before he now came to America. But the beauty of it is that as much as it was nice to me, you can say, well, maybe because I was nice to him, but then he also demonstrated that compassionate spirit to his siblings. The ones, we all know that he has said it is from a very large family, and of course he ensured that he took care, had good care of his siblings, brothers, sisters, who normally over time came to stay with us from time to time. And well, as for the work of ministry, that was extremely surprising to me how far he has gone, because even though he was a church goer back in Nigeria, as a lawyer, as a student, he was a very pious church goer. But when I came to America, and of course he sent me an invitation that he was to be ordained as an evangelist, which was awesome. And of course, he worked in that ministry for all his life, because before he became a pastor, even as an evangelist, was doing the office of a pastor.
Yes.
And of course, like I said, it was I wouldn't know. It was surprising how he could, as a matter of fact, merge his career as a full-time lawyer, and of course also as a full-time minister of the gospel, which he was able to blend together. But I have not seen, like, something that is, I can, as of now, still not able to put my hand on as to how he was able to acquire that grace or attain that position of excellence in the ministry. But the best I can think of is to tie it to Isaiah 45, verse 3, where it was written that, look, I will give you the secret of darkness, the treasures of darkness, and the secret of hidden riches. You know, God has been able to show him the secret of the treasures of good men, the treasures of time, and treasures of being able to know the place, the time, the place, and the men that are able to venture in the work of ministry with him, such that he's able to affect the lives of men and women in very tremendous ways and manner. And there's no doubt that, well, I ascribe that leap with, I tie it to his wife. We all know his wife as heritage. And of course, there was a time, he's a very strong defender of his wife. When I was in Nigeria, I believe after they married, well, I was his best man.
Oh.
I was his best man. And I was his best man. And of course, I know the wife, Deborah. And then one day, as we were talking, that Deborah said, Papa, stop calling my wife Deborah. So what do you mean? That's his name. Say, yeah, but she's now married. I said, I showed, it's not the same Deborah. I said, it's Deborah. No. Of course, for like a week, he was insistent that, look, don't call my wife by her first name anymore. I said, look, I know this girl. When you people are doing church all over the place, so you cannot. But long story short, because, well, it's the owner of the wife, well, owner in quotes is the husband, and that is what he wanted. So if I eventually had to coach myself to win myself out of that Deborah status, and then say, okay, oh, mommy Olu. She said, okay, look, call her by her daughter's name, her son's a child's name. So okay, mommy Olu, mommy Olu, mommy Olu. But it was kind of local to me, you know. But it is just to show that this he cherishes his wife, you know. So I think 100%, and of course, which is something I appreciate in him, and which also I try to use in my own daily life. And one thing I can also say is that, well, it's kind of funny, you know. I remember when we were talking that that was the time that we were talking about, you know, growing up, you have people that are rascally all over the place. Then we were talking one day, and he was trying to recount the story of one of his friends who went into the neighborhood, another neighborhood, and got beat up, or like you say in Africa or Nigeria, beaten up. I know in America they say beat up, which is crazy English. So it was beat up or beaten up, and of course now said, okay, that the guy was now saying that he was beaten up because that's in Yoruba where I was beaten up because I need support, not because I don't have support. I'm just by myself. They jump me, so don't count it against me. But there's nothing that we can say about the present that is not actually reflected in the past, because he has been a man that is given to hard work. Like I said, those three guys that I mentioned, they will live, like I said, I'm a different breed. I am like happy-go-lucky. I'm like a trader. I'm like a fun seeker. But those are the ones that will bury their head in their book for 8 hours. When we finish classes, they will go back into the class, three of them. And of course, he was saying, he already said where I would put a toothpick or not toothpick in his ear, and then be scribbling stuff like all this Arabic or whatever. What he's reading is writing it. So that I would say it's like a way of cramming. But so just writing them. When you go there, you see it's the whole paper in his front. The whole sheet, there's something he has written on it. He's trying to memorize whatever he's reading, or try to recollect or recount whatever is. So that it was not surprising to anybody that when we were in the high school, when we were living in college, it was the best in our set. And I believe I secured maybe like 4 or 5 practice as the best student in like 5 courses. Like we all know that he's very hardworking, so he's always running against time. One thing that I always appreciate is that he's very compassionate. Because when I was, my wife came to America right before me, because she had an American citizen. And of course, which after we got married, he has to come back to America. And of course, she stayed in Pastor's house for maybe 2-3 years before I could join him. And I also recollect that it's a friend of mine, my wife's friend, who is a Muslim, but it's a business person, had to come to America to do some, on a business trip, needed somewhere to. She said, I have a friend who's a pastor, but you are a Muslim. So I don't know how it's going to work. A pastor, you want to stay in a Muslim, stay in a pastor's house. But I call him up. Okay, this is my dealer man, my wife's friends. They wanted to come to New York. Need a place to stay, somewhere to take her. And I said, that's not a problem. She can stay with me. So that's how she allowed the lady, because of me, to stay in his household, in his house. So that is a lot of things that over time left an indelible mark in my heart. That of course is a very very nice guy.
Amen. That's such an amazing relationship over the years. I see a covenant friendship, a friendship that has grown, and we young adults can learn from this. They can learn so much. I would say that, is there, like, what would you say to Pastor Joseph? now?
No, you just mentioned something about covenants that trigger the memory.
Yes.
You know, I've been his friend for like forever. But when I came to America many years ago, I was attending another branch of CSC Wosem. Of course, but I made up my mind to come join 3 years ago. Before then, my daughters have been saying, "Oh, let's go to your friend's church. Let's go." I say, "Why? We stay in the Queens. You want to be going to the Bronx. You'll be paying tolls and whatever. It's not going to happen. We are in this church. God is everywhere. The same and whatever." But I say, "No. That church is good. That seats is like the seats in the movies." I don't sit in the movies. That is not. But over time, because I didn't have no need, but eventually I made up my mind. I said, okay, I was going to cross over to COGA. And I called him and said, "Oh boy, well, when we were in school, I used to call him G, because his name is Jibari. Jibari wrote me in Famuyide. So I call him Jibi. No, it's Jib. Just shorten form of Jibari. They cut Jibari into two. One half is Jib, the other one is Ari. So I used to call him Jib. So he now said that Jibi. When I moved into to COGA, that was when my hidden talent, came to fall. That's why when you talk about destiny, I never knew. I always struggle with songs, with lyrics. For me to be able to sing a song, I will have to study it like I'm reading for exam, because I don't just have that mindset to just for you to sing. So I have to have the lyrics in mind. Then, but long story short, now as of today, I can say I'm a very good songwriter, and of course a proud singer, even though I don't have a good voice. But I will get there one day. So what I'm saying is that, look, it was when I came over to COGA 3 years ago that the spirit of songwriting rested on me. That was when at times I may say, okay, I may just sit down there and then the lines will drop. At times I'll say, okay, this is what I want to think about. I will push it back and forth before everything will gel together. But like I said, COGA Cathedral, being pastored by Pastor Joseph Rotimi Jibari Famuyide, it's a place of destiny. If you find your way in there, one hidden talent or one point of contact or one program or situation will make you a better Christian. I used to wonder when I was on the other side, program, how does it happen? But over time, it has shown that, well, it is a point of destiny, because you never know. I said my people perish for lack of knowledge. It is that knowledge that is being planted here and there in one program or the other that makes people better. I think it was saying, he has been saying that in COGA nobody can be poor. It's because of the spiritual well-being, and of course the knowledge that is imparted on people over time. That the Bible says, "I know the thoughts that I have for you, thought of good and not of evil, to bring you a perfect expected end." I think I've said before, that thought of good has to do with the time, the place, and the people. I believe that the place for spiritual growth is COGA Cathedral, led by Pastor Joshua Famuyide, and a place of destiny where you can also have some meaningful career development is COGA Cathedral. We have the gas.
I think you can tell how a friend is just like, that is just amazing that you have all this wonderful things to say about Pastor. Would you just like to share what a prayer over him?
Yes, I believe, because I've known him. I know he has one weakness, because I've said so many good things. He's a very stubborn man. Stubborn in a good way. A very stubborn man. He knows that, okay, this is what is right, based on what he has heard from God. He will stay right there stubbornly, defiantly, and until you can also see the light. So I will just say that Jib, I've not called him Jib in a long time. I call him man of God. Is that's the God that has helped you thus far will not leave you or forsake you, in Jesus' name. He will continue to count you worthy of his daily blessing. When you go in pursuit of happiness, God will make sure that all stumbling blocks are converted to stepping stone for you. You will. You have always said that there's room at the top. The God of mercy that has placed you at the top will maintain you at the top, will protect you at the top, will visit you on a daily basis at the top. You don't need to be displeased for any reason. The top is where you belong, and God will give you the modesty to remain at the top, the mercy and the grace to remain at the top. Happy birthday, my friend.
Listen to me now. Listen to me now. Listen.